Every now and again, Esther will say, but Abraham, I would like to be one of the rare exceptions to this. I would like to be able to vibrate outside the vortex and still get what I want. And we say, that's like saying, I want to take this corner at 100 miles an hour, even though everybody that's tried it over 80 went in the gully. In other words, there are laws that you understand, laws of gravity and laws of inertia, and you've learned to work within them. You know how far you can push them. Oh, you get better suspension, and you put better banking on your corners. In other words, we watch you. You smooth out the bumps in your road so that you can push the limits of inertia law and gravity law. And we see you do that with this law of attraction law. We see you ornerier than you really need to be. We see you pushing the limits of it. But we also notice that when you have powerful, powerful, powerful desire, which occupies part of your thinking, even though there's some doubt that you're lacing it with, you can still take those corners pretty good if your desire is strong enough. And that's really what we want to talk about in the hours that we are together today. I want to show you, with far less effort than you think, how you can tune yourself into alignment with all that you've been asking for, because we want your life to manifest in the way you want it to. However, if you could let go of your quest for manifestation just for a little while and satisfy yourself with the immediate improvement that emotion will bring you, the immediate improvement of just focusing in a way that you feel better, then we will have taught you to focus your way into your vibrational reality. And then you're home free, because you don't have to focus your way into your vibrational reality very long before your reality catches up with it. And when it does, Jerry and Esther must have used the word miraculous 200 times the day the tree came down. It felt miraculous in the sense that they so wanted it, and there it is. And every time they would say miraculous, one or the other of them would just grin at the other one, because they know these things that people call miracles are just logical response of law of attraction to your defined, deliberate intention. Expectation really is the most powerful word that we could present in a forum like this, because expectation includes what you want and your belief about it. So when you want something but you doubt it, your expectation is keeping you from getting in the vortex, keeping you from being a compatible component, keeping you from being in there where things are lining up so that you're not getting any whiff of it, you're not getting any clues on it, you're not in the right place at the right time, you're not making the right decisions. But when you are desirous of something and optimistic, when you're desirous of something and expecting it, when you're desirous of something and believing it, now your expectation is in a place where you're in the vortex, you're in there where the movement is, you're in there where the things are happening, you're in there where the rendezvous are being, and you're in on the creation. Don't you find it hundreds of times more satisfying to intend something that isn't and then watch it become than to just sort of stumble on something that already became? You are creators. It is so much more satisfying. We promise you, Jerry and Esther will forever savor their view of the Pacific Ocean in ways that others will not, because they didn't have a view of the Pacific Ocean for 2 years. It wasn't there. It wasn't there and they wanted it, but it was all right. It wasn't there and they wanted it, but it was all right. It wasn't there, but they wanted it, but it was all right. They wanted it without resistance. Well, maybe a little. Maybe a little. They wanted it without resistance. They wanted it without resistance. And when it came to be, the satisfaction is so much, 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 much more. You always like your long drink of whatever it is when you're thirsty. And you always enjoy your meal when you're a little bit hungry. And you always enjoy moving into the vortex when you've not been in there for a little bit. And so the two predominant things that we want to express to you in a way that you will hear them today is you want to be in the vortex as much as you can. And you don't want to be mad at yourself when you're not. Because if you can make peace with not being in there, if you can make peace with what is, it's a lot easier to move in. What do you want to talk about? So here's how it works. Before you came into this body, you were source energy, vibration. And as part of that consciousness, a lot of words, energy, vibration, consciousness, all of this vibrational you knows about this leading edge time-space reality and sends part of that consciousness into these physical bodies that you now claim as you. So as the consciousness came forth into you and you were pronounced alive, you are always alive, but they just didn't know it. There you are, physically focused, source energy in a physical body. But when the doctors examined you, they counted your fingers and toes, but not one of them said, source energy here. Now, they were onto it in some way because they said, this one's alive. And when you croak, they'll pronounce you dead. So they've got the energy part down to the extent that they can tell when there's some in you and they can tell when there isn't. But they really don't understand the full relationship between this source that is you. So here you are, a part of your consciousness, a very small part of the consciousness that is you as source energy came into this physical body. And as that energy comes into this physical body, now there is a relationship between the larger part of you and the physical part of you. These two vibrational energy beings are now having a vibrational relationship, just like a transmitter and a receiver. Just like you set your radio dial in order to receive a particular frequency for a particular broadcast that you want to hear, you have been set to a frequency to receive this broadcast that is coming from who you really are. And when you first get here, your frequencies are so aligned that you are a perfect extension of source energy. Very soon you become exposed to the worrisome mother that you were born to. And you begin the process of being readied for life experience by your parents, who have long before you got here begun, in most cases, to focus upon the troublesome things of life. And they are determined to point every one of them out to you for the purpose of preparing you for guarding yourself against unwanted things. Now, these well-meaning but not wise parents don't realize that in their socialization of you that there is a very big other thing going on, and that is they may be helping you to tune your frequency further and further and further from the frequency of your source. But they're not really worried about that, because as far as they're concerned, they are the source of your guidance. So you hear things like, life isn't just about fun and games, and your inner being is saying, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is. And your parents are saying, and life is not fair, and your inner being is saying, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is. And the universe does not revolve around you, and your inner being is saying, yes it does, yes it does, yes it does. And you cannot have everything you want just because you have been flitting around and have determined that you want it. And your inner being is saying, yes you can, yes you can, yes you can. You can be or do or have anything that you tune yourself to vibrationally. Now, your well-meaning parents and mentors and teachers who are surrounded by their physical environment have something going on with them that you as a newborn newcomer have not yet picked up along your physical trail. And that is, they have a very severe case in almost every case of what is itis. And what is itis is it's awareness of what is. It's infatuation with the physical details that surround you. It's a determination to just observe, 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 inform, dissect, discover, inform, observe. And all of that is wonderful, because you came to do that. You came to sift through the variety in order to come to your own awareness of your own preferences and desires, in order to be a creator, in order to create more out of what is. But in the process of becoming so enamored with what is that you train yourself into what we sincerely and emphatically want to convey to you all here today is a past tense environment. And what we mean by that is, well, we'll just say it plain out. When you're looking at what is, you're looking at old news. Now that's sort of hard to hear when you say, Abraham, how much more current can we be than now? And we say, way more current, because now is that lagging manifestation that is way behind where the larger part of you is as a result of what you've been living here. Now, did we get your attention with that? Do you understand what we mean? We wrote a book a few years ago and gave it the best title ever, Ask and It Is Given. And this is exactly what that story is about. When contrast causes you to ask, vibrationally speaking, it is given immediately, and the larger part of you becomes it. In other words, what we just said to you is the vibrational aspect that you know as you may be sick and may be feeling lousy or may not have enough money and may be lonely, it may be having all of those negative experiences, but the non-physical source energy part of you that has just expanded because of the contrast that you've been living is standing in present tense prosperity and in present tense vitality and in present tense wellness. And in fact, the very reason that you feel the sickness that you feel or the discouragement that you're having is because vibrationally speaking, you're off your beam. Vibrationally speaking, the larger part of you has expanded to a place that you have not become. Do you know that sickness that is rampant on your planet today is rampant on your planet today for one reason and one reason only? Your contrast has caused you to expand, and you haven't figured out how to follow that guidance and follow that signal and take that expansion and be the expanded being that your life has carved out for you. And that's why you feel sick. In other words, instead of following your own guidance, in following your own bliss, in reaching for the better feeling thought, you listen to the peanut gallery. You listen to them as they sift through the contrast and they say, well, those are good people, but those are bad people. And do you know, if anybody can convince you that that person or that segment is bad and you focus upon them as being bad for a while, you'll get so far off your signal because the source within you will not proclaim them as bad that you'll eventually get sick over the separation that one opinion is causing you. When you find evil among those that you live with, or when you find it anywhere, and you focus upon what you perceive as evil, you prevent that which is good from being within you. In other words, there is no source of evil. There's only a source of well-being, because through the contrast that you are all living, you are asking for more. And the source, the larger part of you, the source energy part of all that is collecting the improvement, the best of all, and holding the vibration steady for you so that you can use your emotional guidance to make your claim as quickly as you can on the good that you and others have carved out of this leading edge time-space reality. We have enjoyed this interaction more than words can convey. You are a leading edge crowd in a leading edge time and space, exploring the variety of your life and causing an expansion of the universe for which the larger non-physical part of you feels utter and complete appreciation for. When you stand where you stand with your newfound determination to improve your mood, you release anything that even remotely approaches a deadline, and you completely align with everything that is a lifeline. When you decide that how you feel matters first and foremost, and you tend to that first, so that you get in the vortex and then you go to sleep, and you wake up in the vortex and then you greet your family. You get in the vortex and then you place the important phone call. You get into the vortex and then you drive your vehicle. You get into the vortex and then you write your book. You get into the vortex and then you write your song. You get into the vortex, and then you greet your neighbor.